Hi guys, I'm Jenny Guaroje. If you're interested in how I created these two looks, which is for professional and for natural, please stay tuned and I will teach you, I guess. So let's get into it. So first I'm going to be using my Got2b glue. You can use your eyebrow gel or anything, but just something that can make your brows stay in place. So I'm going to be using my mascara spoolie to just comb out my brows with the gel. So you comb it upwards, then after combing your brows upward, then you just straighten it at the top side and boom. Next up is your powder palette. You need a powder palette, any shade of color will do, but as a professional makeup artist, I would advise to use the lightest shade, which is this one, and I'm going to pat it on my brows. So next up, you're going to be using your eyebrow pencil, but I prefer using a gel liner, which is in the shade brown, because it's much more easier for me and it works perfectly. So for the gel liner, I'm going to be using this flat tip brush, and I'll use it to carve out my brows or to draw out my brows. So I'll just take a little from it, and then I start from here. So I'll start from here. But for the bottom, I'm going to start at the middle side here. Then I'll draw it out. The next thing for you to do is to fill in your brows with the same gel. So I'm just going to fill it in like this, lightly. Now the outer corner here, I'll just brush it upwards. Just like that. Bingo. Then after that, I'll take my mascara spoolie and just brush it out. Just like that. And you're done. The next part is the concealing part, and I'll advise you to have a concealer palette as a professional makeup artist, because there are different shades here and it works perfectly. I'm going to be using my VBT concealer palette, and then to conceal my brows, I'm going to be using this flat tip brush, and to conceal or highlight my brow bone area, which is the middle part here, I'm going to be using a lighter shade of concealer. So I'm going to be using, since I'm dark skinned, I'm going to be using this one here. So I'm going to start from the middle part here. And then I drag it down so that it will be easier for me to blend. Remember, you're only highlighting your brow bone area. You're going to stop here. Then the next part is you highlighting the inner and the outer part. I would advise you to use your foundation, because your foundation is the same shade as your skin. So you use your foundation to conceal the inner and outer part of your brow, and also the top part if there's any need be. I don't like concealing the top part of my brow, but people like it. So let me just show you. I'm using that flat tip brush that I used before, but I've cleaned it. Make sure you clean it. So I'll use it again to highlight, to conceal the inner and outer corner of my brows. Just like that. So you can stop here if you want. If you're the type that likes concealing the top part of your brows, let me show you how to do it. So I'll lay my brush flat. It's not more like this, but flat. And I start from the middle part here, and then I drag it. Make sure there's enough product. So I'll just drag it out like that, and then I start from the tail part of my brows here. Then I make sure it matches the down part. Make sure they meet, just like that. Then here comes the curvy part of your brows. Just like that, you're done. So I'm going to use the tip of the brush and brush out the excess product at the end of the brow, just like that. And now for the blending part, you're going to blend darker shades first before you blend lighter shade. So I'll blend my top part of my brow, the inner and outer corner, then the last part will be my brow bone. And just like that, you're done. So after that, for you to set the product so that it will avoid any creasing on your client's face or your face, you have to use a powder to set the concealer in so that there won't be any breakage. So I'll go over with my powder palette, and for the outer shade, I'm going to use the lighter color here. But let's start with the darker shade, like I said. So I'm going to use the dark shade here and just tap it at my inner corner side and outer corner and top of the brow. I'll go over with my lighter shade of powder and then I'll tap it at my brow bone area to highlight it, to give it a highlighted look. And voila, you are done. Don't have any issues as a professional makeup artist. You can actually use this as your day-to-day eyebrow look, but I feel like it's just too much. So if you're looking for something more simple, head over to part 2.